All right. So yeah, finishing off what I was saying, just to kind of wrap that part up.
Okay.
But the fact that when you put yourselves in groups, when you put yourself, you then become you become comfort first of all, but second of all, it's also discomfort because then you find that you put yourself in a family or you're in a family, but then you are then responsible for everyone else's actions.
Yeah.
Right? That's what
Yeah.
someone else looking in will find is that if you can say that, look, I'm in a family and this is what we did and it's amazing, then everyone says, okay, well done, guys, even though you didn't do anything, but the family did, right?
Yeah.
But it happens the opposite way as well, whereas if one of us then messes up in this family, then the group is not going to say, oh, no, it's only these people that kind of, messed up. They say, well, the family then messed up, right? Which is why I said, do you think, again, why putting each other in communities and putting ourselves in comfort zones is a really is a smart approach, or is a good approach, in the sense that then it heightens your sensitivity, because then you don't even have to do anything, right, to then be sensitive to something. You just have to feel someone else's pain, and then you find actually you're not even part of this, and then what happens is then we just fight back and forth, so again, it's like I can have this conversation with you, right? And you might call yourself queer, right? But then the fact that we can have this conversation and we're cool about it is fine. But someone else might listen to it and say, oh my goodness, I don't like the way that this guy called another woman queer. And then he fights with me, right? Or she fights with me. And then it's like, I'm against the community. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm not even, like, if we're fighting, I'm just arguing with you. Or I'm arguing with the topic. I'm not arguing with everyone. It's that comfort of, I'm going to bring my friends, I'm going to bring my gang members, a gang mentality, bring my gang to fight this battle. It's like, they actually really have nothing to do with it. And then what happens is then, I then will be like, well, if you're going to attack me, then there's people that are going to be on my back that are going to say, you know what, actually, no, we support you. And then it's a back and forth battle. And you see this everywhere.
Yeah, no.
You see this whole thing. You see it with every single thing that happens that's bad, right? Or the world thinks it's bad. Exact same thing that happens. The same thing now with this whole espresso thing, right? It's like one person versus one person, right? That's the thing. Then the one person says, look, you know what? Let me take this and put it all over the world, right? And then what happens is then you gather support, which is good. You want support, right? But what I'm saying is support comes in people that won't support you, right? What do you find then? You find then people will say, oh, you know what? Now actually we defend this guy. We are actually, now we're part of, you can't let him use his job. This is wrong. This is wrong. And then you're like, this whole time I actually thought that I was trying to be in a family and trying to protect myself and trying to get followers or get comfort. But then you actually put yourself out there to get punched. You see? So again, that's what I'm saying is that then, is it really like what we're trying to do as a society? Is it really a good thing to actually try to be in a group as opposed to trying to be individuals? Because
I'm sorry. But no, I go on the angle that you are actually taking. I think we do that because in my understanding or in my perception, we create families and we create communities because it's safer. You feel safer in that way. There is a safeness, a feeling of safeness, and a feeling of belonging when you have a family, when you belong to a family or to a community, as opposed to being alone, an individual, an island. Also we these things of no man is an island, those kind of things. So we feel safer, but is it really safe in the way that you're asking it? I think it does become a bit dangerous, because it becomes dangerous when you lose your individuality, because I think That's one thing we need to go back to. Wow, my brows. That's one thing that we need to go back to at times, and just remember that, listen, you're an individual. So it does become dangerous. It does. It does. Especially when you fight battles that you don't know, you know? Like you're saying, you will have a battle with one queer person, and we will all flog. I will flog, but I'll come and attack because the community is attacking, so that means we must attack, you know? So yeah, it does become a bit dangerous. So is it a good idea to create families and communities? Yeah, let people belong, let people feel safe, let people have homes to run to. But I think it also becomes it has to be an individual conversation to allow yourself and to just always remember that you're an individual. Because when you're explaining it to me right now, I'm thinking, okay, cool, let's say they attack a queer person in Cape Town and it happens on Facebook, because right now I don't have Facebook, and it happens on Facebook and I find out about it. What do I do? Do I go and I attack? Do I share the posters of heterosexual people are trash? Let's say they create posters and like, oh my word, hetero people are trash. I don't know the story. Do I then share the poster because I identify as a queer human being? It wouldn't make sense to, you know. Maybe should I find out the story? Should I find out the motive behind the posters? And should it then resonate with me? Then I will share the posters. But do I just see the poster and do I just share the poster? It won't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. So yeah, I think when we create these communities and we create these families, we should have a particular objective for them, you know? Yeah.
So this is, yeah, I this is what I'm trying to get at as well is, yeah, I understand totally everything that you're saying, man, and I'm thinking about it as you're talking, and again, it's like it's an eye for an eye type of situation, and it's like, you know, you fight me, I fight you, and then we fight together, and then someone else will fight because of something else that they fight, and then it's just negativity, and it's just that we just become proud of being negative. We're proud to be different, you know, but yeah, no, I'm not the same as this. I want to disagree so that I'm different. It's like, just spread positive stuff, bro. Leave negative stuff. Like, the more you leave negative things, the less you entertain them, the less you entertain negative people, the less they will feel entertained, and therefore they will then just try to be positive. So, again, it's like you're saying now, I mean, you find it almost everywhere. You go on Facebook, you go on any kind of social media, you find certain stuff like that. You find that someone will post about being raped or being beaten up, right? And it's like, I want the following. I want people to kind of, you know, listen to what I have to say and share my story. And I mean, the thought process about it is literally like innocent. Like, I just want this. Someone else will say, nah, bro, nah, I don't think so. I think you were wrong in this situation. And I think that the fact that you posted this on here was absolutely, totally horrible. Now this person is going to, you know, go to jail, or this person is then going to lose his job or lose her job. Do they really need to do that? Like, could you not have actually just spoken to him one-on-one, or try to make it, you know, kind of, you keep it in here, you know? Then you find then there'll be a big following this side and a big following this side, and then they just keep clashing. And then you have back and forth battles, and this happens every single time. And like I said, it's similar with what the situation with this espresso person did. You know, it's like, it's a personal fight. We're fighting a personal thing. When you having and then now, when all of a sudden when you're fighting, like, okay, cool, I want the whole world to listen. And then the whole world listens, and the other says, and then on top of that, you find that then you just wait 2 weeks for something else to happen. go into another story. Your speaker. Okay? Your speaker. It's yours.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you kidding?
But okay. Yeah, so that's a good take on things. You know, like I said again, with the whole LGBT community, the reason why I said it's sensitivity and things like that, it's like, again, we'll feel comfortable in groups, but then all those groups really comfortable, because then they also fragment, they also break off, you know, and then you find you find that in the same group you have a white person, a black person, and a colored person, and then depending on what fight we're
you.
that was me, okay. So
It's you.
depending on what fight we're fighting, we then choose different teams. Because then we're all LGBTQ until it's Black Lives Matter, and then we kind of.
Dude, oh my gosh, you're reminding me of a certain if I'm not mistaken, it was 2015, 2016, and I'm gonna forgive myself if I'm wrong. 2015 or 2016, there was Johannesburg. There was a Pride, right? Do you know the Pride events? I'm sure you do. Yeah, there was a Pride event, right? And of course, every queer person went. And then there was a Black Lives Matter during Pride, right? During the march, then there was a Black Lives Matter thing that happened. And of course, white lives didn't, Black Lives Matter. So there was a whole, a fight erupted, a big fight erupted. And that was the end of Pride for the day. That was the end of Pride for the weekend, actually, because Pride goes on from Friday to Sunday. So that was end of Pride for the weekend. So yeah, which you just said reminded me of that. And then it goes down to our groups, our communities, our families. A good idea, because within the families we still have our differences. Within the communities we still have our differences. You know, we still have lots of differences, 40, you know, and we argue a lot within ourselves, within our differences, and they're like, you're agreeing with the hetero people. I'm like, yeah, well, they're making sense, you know, they're making sense. I agree with what they're saying because I feel the same way, you know. So it doesn't make sense just because we're in the same community or we're in the same family, that it doesn't make sense that I now have to agree with everything that you're saying, you know. It can't happen like that. So families and communities are a bit problematic. I feel like with everything in general, there is a form of negativity to it. Yeah, the communities are a bit problematic. No lie. I might get into trouble for this, but I don't care. I stand my ground.
See, but look, even when you do get in trouble, or if you do get in trouble, you get in trouble against particular communities. But then even those communities, you find that then some of them agree with you, some of them don't. Then it's like it's communities within communities within communities up until this different individual people. And then you find that, see, we're not all fighting together here. We're just finding comfort to fight together.
Oh my goodness, actually not, because within the same community, there's the different sexualities, right? So each sexuality has their own group.
Different, yeah.
So it's like, oh my word, I thought we were all together, guys. And we're actually not.
Yeah. So then it raises the question about: is there more comfort in oneself than there is in actually a community?
There's actually more comfort in oneself.
So that doesn't it make more sense than to build yourself up and to build your character up instead of trying to strengthen communities and fight for them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said again, if you can have three people, right? You can have a big woman, right? So a big woman, you can have a thin woman, you can have a male, right?
Yeah.
And depending which fight we're fighting, we can all fragment and change either or. So if you're gonna have a shaming fight, then generally the bigger men or the bigger woman or the bigger people kind of then go and fight, right? And let's say the thin person says, "Nah, I don't need to," right? And then we say, "Okay, let's have a Black Lives Matter." Oh, okay, well, which team are we going to now? It depends what color we are.
Yeah.
Oh, let's have a political fight. Oh, it depends which party we're fighting, and then we're different, right?
Yeah.
And, oh, okay, let's have an LGBTQ fight, and it's, oh yeah, see, now we can be in the same group.
Yeah.
It kind of depends what the weather is. It depends what the fight is. It depends where we're going. Then it's like, are we really then a community?
So when it's dependent, it's a bit it raises an eyebrow. When it is dependent on a particular, you know, I get you. Oh my word! Sorry.
So again, like I said, man, you find this. Okay, so the next, like I said, the next thing we're gonna go on is religion. But you even find it with religion. You find that we are. I'm a Sabbath, and it's like, well, we're Christian. Oh yeah, but we are a community within Christianity, and we are actually thinking about this, and then we're Catholic, and then we're like this, but then we don't believe in that, and then it's but then we don't condone gay marriage, and it's like, wait, but we do. And it's like, oh, but how are you doing it when we are in the same bracket? It's like, oh, maybe you guys are not in the same bracket that we thought. Oh, maybe we believe in the same thing. Then it's like, but this is religion, and we're one community. Are we really then one community?
Are we really? That is the question.
So this is what happens. So it's like I remember the other time, like a gay person was in a church that he used to go to, and he came out and they were like, listen, we can't marry you here. You know, and it's like, wait, but I thought we were on the same team, bro. Like, I've been in this team for like 20, 30 years now. I want to get married. All of a sudden, I'm not in the same team as a whole congregation, you know, and you tapping people's shoulders, and everyone's like, and it's like, what? But this whole time, I thought we were fighting together. Well, then you find your strength is not in a group.
It's not.
Your strength is the group within yourself.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
So, that's what I'm saying. So then you find that even it's like same with friendships. You know, the way you build strong friendships is if you build yourself to be stronger. If you build yourself to be stronger, you inspire someone else to build themselves to be stronger too. And stronger as a result of you building yourself and not actually building a friendship.
Yeah.
Because it comes again to a point where you sell someone something, worth something to them, they will leave that circle.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen then? Does the rest of the group crumble? No, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
What should happen is you as a person, the group within yourself should actually stay strong. And then someone else that wants to fit in.
Yeah, so basically you need to be yourself, grow yourself, nurture yourself, meet people, allow yourself to meet people, meet families, meet communities, interact with them, learn, still be yourself within the community, still be yourself within the family, move away from that, regroup, recollect, build yourself, nurture, go and meet, learn, come back and be yourself. Basically,
so the group should be with oneself instead of being with others.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so this goes into the next the next part of the topic with how do you then experience, again, you're part of a family, right? So your family, who she's one of us and she's one of us forever and we love her, right? And then you turn 13 years old and you say, oh, you know what, I like girls, right? Then your family says, no need to look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you feel like, what, for 13 years you guys were agreeing with everything that I'm doing. Now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So then what happened in your case?
That's when I began to isolate myself. I literally isolated myself. Um,
You decided then to become stronger within yourself.
yeah,
Part of
yeah, because I mean, she's this family that is not rejecting me. What do I do? Do I fall apart? Do I die? Because I mean, this is who I am. This is how I feel. Um, what happens then? So I chose to rather isolate um myself because now we are not on the same page. You know, now
and you
now we're not.
were you ever on the same page?
Were we ever? You know, exactly. Those are the kind of things that go through my head at that point. Then, but guys, do you know, were we ever? You know, so yeah. From then, that point was when I began to isolate. Yeah, so I chose isolation. Um, and so I moved away from the group. I moved away from the family, from the community that I was in. Yeah, this was it. And yeah,
So you've always been in lockdown then.
basically,
Yeah.
basically, in simple terms, yeah.
So then you moved away as in like you ran away, left.
Nope, stayed in the same house, but I didn't talk to anyone I spoken or spoken to. Uh, yeah, that was me. Stayed in the room, read my books. I was just about my life. Yeah,
This
thank God.
this is an important question. How did you not commit suicide?
I tried. I
What
did
did you
try
what did you do?
a a number of times. Uh, I was never successful, but I did try.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now the follow-up question is, why aren't you trying to commit suicide now?
Hey, man. I think because I realized one, I'm definitely very fearless now. Now I'm a whole another person, and they are just like, whoa, what happened to you? Are you okay? Why are you fighting? And um, I'm not fighting with anyone. I've just learned to defend myself. You know, um, yeah. So I'm not trying to die now because I'm alive, man, for a
On purpose?
reason. Yeah, yeah, I'm alive for a reason. I found my purpose definitely, and it's definitely to be gay.
But you found your purpose because you were willing to look for it.
Yes, you know. Um, I'm also grateful that in even in the suicide attempts after them, there was a point where I forced myself to live. I was like, you know what, you're going to live. You're going to live, and you're going to do this life thing. I dragged myself through it, still dragging myself through it. You know, just it's a bit. Can I say easier now? Yeah, because self-acceptance, you know, because I think that's where it also had to begin with me accepting how I am or what I am or how I feel, however I choose to justify it. But it had to begin with that. So I had to look myself up and actually be like, no, man, um, it's okay. And but then I was only able to do that when I was able to move out of here, when I was able to leave the space. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. I think again, do you think that you would have gotten this powerful if you didn't go to those depths?
No, no, I wouldn't have. I would have still been the same. I don't think I'd be alive, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, no. I don't think I would be alive to tell this tale. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, man. I think a lot of, well, I think it'll help a lot of people with stuff like that, man. Like I said again, it's like how many people do you know get to the point where they're like, it's easier to die, you know, it's easier to quit,
Yeah.
you know.
It really is easier to.
Yeah, and it's like, how many people do you know that you know, one person was happy the whole time and then boom, all of a sudden they committed suicide. And it's like, I know, but how did this whole thing happen? And it's like, well, he created a facade, or they created a facade for you to look at, and then on the other side they were like, it's easier to go, it's easier to go, it's easier to go, and they're planning their escape. I mean, they keep looking at this one picture that they're kind of painting, and then one day they get the energy, or they get the willpower to die or to kill themselves.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of people get so mad at that when people do that, because they're like, if you can find the willpower to kill yourself or to commit suicide, how did you not find the willpower to save yourself?
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you start? Do you know?
Yeah, sure.
How do you go about the process?
And I think for me, it starts with stuff like this, where you can actually then hear someone that's gone through something like that. That maybe I'm just overreacting, man. Maybe this life thing is not that bad. Maybe there's I can actually live for something, you know. And because again, with negativity, it just piles on so much that you don't even see any light. And because you don't see light, you then think to yourself, oh, you know what? Maybe there is no light at all. And it's like, no, sometimes you just have to remove the blanket. But removing that blanket, you got to know that it's there. You got to know that you actually have to be the person that removes it. And you find that those biggest life lessons when you're at your darkest places. And again, it's what I'm saying. You find what you want where you least want to look sometimes, you know.
But you need a little bit of a push. I think it's a bit,
for sure.
It's a bit unrealistic. If we say you need to find the willpower, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need a little push. Like for myself, I didn't just wake up one day and be like, oh, you know what, today I actually want to do. No, I had to go for therapy. I got to a point where I was literally trying to die every second, you know, and it worried me. And I'm grateful for that little worry in my brain that is like, but what if you get there and it's not chill vibes, it's not peace, it's not, you know what I mean? But if I get there and I have to go through worse, you know, and I was like, you know what, let me try and get some help, and then if this help doesn't help, then maybe we can resort to that decision of just like,
but that's what I'm saying, yeah. But that push, so the push that you get is what you needed to decide that you want to. You can't get the push.
Definitely.
You need to say, look, I'm underneath here and I'm in a blanket. No one's gonna know that.
Yeah,
you want to be positive about it, but you need to then within yourself to say, you know what, let me go and listen to someone that maybe will tell me something positive.
Yeah.
The person's not gonna rock up and think, oh, he has nothing, let me come and speak to you. You gotta you wake up and say, maybe I should actually go and find and decide for yourself, so that you don't get into situations like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Okay, so and I think that's also like the fundamental lessons with kind of religion. I mean, for me, I don't like to kind of talk about stuff like that, but I think that's what is so enticing about it, is that there is something that's there in the world that is like is bad. Like there is bad things there. There is things that you're gonna go through that is terrible. You know, the only way to kind of come out of it alive, and the only way to come out of it a better person, is if you yourself go get whatever is that is troubling you, and you then cure it yourself. You know what? That's why therapy is not something where I call you to come to therapy. You need to be the one who comes to me.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to be the person that makes the decision to go to therapy. No one says to a drug dealer, hey, I'm gonna go lock you up and put you in therapy. Doesn't work.
Even with therapy, it still has to be a personal decision. Like, do you really want this help that you're getting right now? Do you know what I mean? You can sit with a therapist for 10 hours and walk out healed, you know? Or you can sit with a therapist and just listen and walk out feeling the same. You walk out with the same mentality. You know, you walk out with zero change. So even with that, still has to be a personal decision. Like, do I really want to be okay? You need to go in there with a certain goal. It needs to be you that wants to go there. You know, even
Yeah,
if we do.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
yeah,
you
it is a personal decision.
you take that step and then conquer it yourself. Then once
Yeah.
you've done that, no one else can. That's how you build your own character. That's when you realize that actually, man, like the world might be really dangerous and really negative, but I
Hmm.
actually have equipment to deal with it.
Yeah, my therapist was telling me the exact same thing on our last session last month. She told me, and she's like, listen, we've had therapy for 3 months, and all that I've done was listen to you and talk to you. You had to be the person that had to go home and implement what I was telling you. You had to
Mm,
be the person that goes home and puts in the work, you know? She's like, one thing I want you to walk out knowing is that you are the person that has the tools to fix your life. You're the
yeah.
person that has the tools to fix yourself. Only you can serve yourself. That's the one thing she always told me every single day when we would depart. She'd be like, listen here, I can't save you. You
Mm,
have to save yourself. And yeah,
yeah. But that's that push that
yeah,
she's then giving you, but only because you're willing to be pushed.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very powerful, man. It's quite inspiring. Um,
Mhm.
and you see how again we come from totally different cloths, and we come from totally different. I don't even know your therapist, and she
Mhm.
probably doesn't know me. Um, but again, it's like it's just the way it makes sense. You go through life, you need to voluntarily take something and say, okay, this is a problem, but I'm gonna conquer it. And
Mhm.
once I conquer it, then I can actually then move on. But if you give it to someone else, but you don't actually then develop the tool set or the skill set to do it yourself, you
Yeah.
know. This is part of the reason why I wanted to kind of have talks like this, is so that then
Yeah.
for me it's like, yo, I can talk like this to anyone, I don't have all the knowledge of everything, right? And of course
Mhm.
I try to make sure that I gain as much as I can. Um, that someone else kind of needs something like this, kind of needs 10 seconds of this, and is like, you know what, let me put this blade down, bro. It's not as bad
Yeah.
as I thought and then go
Mhm.
out there and live their lives. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of negative stuff going on. There's a lot of family things going on. Oh, we pushing each other here. Oh, we're gonna go and fight for our friend. It's like then your friend doesn't actually then develop the skill set to fight for themselves. Maybe you should just
Mhm.
let them fight their own battles. Go and actually take their battles, fight them, and then find power in that. As soon as you start
Yeah.
other people, nothing happens. Like sometimes someone needs to say, okay, cool, look, stop bullying this person, otherwise I'll beat you up, but I
Mhm.
want you to know that this person can beat you up too. And then you're giving him something to then boost him. But their
Yeah.
battle doesn't help anyone. You
No.
just make it worse for him tomorrow. You make it worse for them tomorrow when they go to school.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good talk. How's it now with the family now, with all the religious stuff and things like that?
um, I got to a point where I had to define my own religion. I had to get to a point because the communal one was a bit oppressive for me. You know, um, the religion that I was exposed to and I grew up and that was installed in me was a bit oppressive for me. Um, it didn't resonate with me. Didn't make sense to me. And there was a point where actually I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm dizzy. Like, miss me with religion, miss me with God, miss me with the Bible, miss me with whatever. Like, I'm dizzy, guys. I'm okay. I'm gay and I'm sinning. Fine. I'm going to hell. Cool. We're leaving it at that. But um, I grew, and of course, I made a decision that let me actually tap into this religion thing and define it for myself. Let me create my own religion. That's going to resonate with me. Um, and it made more sense in that way. Um, it then I was with that one that I created for myself. I was like, actually, let me find things out for myself, you know. Let me walk away from the hearing about the scripture says this, and therefore this is what is going to happen, you know. Please close the door. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. So I got to a point where I was like, you know, let me just like define my own religion. So yeah, I done that. I went through the scriptures myself, and they made sense to me. You know, I read it in Yanjalayam, and yeah. Then I was like, actually, I'll choose this religion. This one, yeah. I'll take this one, and I'm gonna fly with it. And how are things going now with the family? They're tricky. Look at it. I long for the day where everything is okay. Because when hey, things are tricky. Look, they're very tricky. I would like to, because I think me and both myself and them are still navigating the idea. I haven't really sat down with them and been like, guys, by the way, you know, I haven't had that because I don't believe in it. I don't remember any of them sitting us down and telling us that, oh yeah, guys, by the way, you know. So I have never felt the need to do that. So I haven't done it. Also because there's still fear, man, you know. I don't think fear ever dies down. There's still that fear. But I am expressing myself a lot more. I am living freely a lot more. I'm definitely not hiding who I am, and they're aware of it. I think they just don't have a way of asking me about it. They ask me like this. They beat around the bush, and I answer that which I hear, that which I understand. So we're tricky, man. I'm really fearful of the day when the bomb drops itself, because I'm not gonna drop it. Yeah, but things are really tricky. I'm not gonna lie to you, but with my religion, I'm cool. I've defined it myself, and I'm just going about it my own way, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've defined your sexuality yourself. You've defined your religion yourself. You've got your own purpose.
Yes.
You're happy, man. You feel as though that's what you need, and what everyone else says, it's whatever. That's their problem. That's their problem.
That's definitely the life. That's definitely the life I'm living now. Like, I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do what I see fit. You know, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna go about life my own way. It's mine. I only have one chance to live it. And if I live it right, I think I'll be fine. So yeah, no, that's definitely my that's how I'm choosing to do this life thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think again, conversations like this, the one thing I like about it so much is Lenba, you think that you're talking to me, né? And then there's a million other people that are in the exact same position as you are in, and they feel that they need this to kind of kickstart, right? Not only that, but the people that they want to then talk to, listen to this, and then they are like, how can we choose religion over this? Or how can we choose this thought process over this? And then they start evaluating themselves, right? And then they're like, you know what, actually, yeah, man. Yeah, and you know how Abazali are, they don't want to talk to you, but there's about one club changes, you know, but maybe, like, you know, she wasn't able to express herself to us, but sambona ngubama to like unje. Yeah, and I think that's the way that we should treat her, and then you'll see it. Yeah. So I hope I hope that happens to you. I hope that happens to everyone that's in a tough space.
When it happens, we are creating another life. We are creating another life.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people that are, even with the other ones, it's like, it's the, male and female relationship or friendship relationships, and we talk about it. Sometimes you have those stubborn people that don't want to listen, but they'll be and they hear stuff that they're doing, and they sit back and they reevaluate themselves. Instead of saying sorry to someone, for example, or trying to express themselves to someone, they kind of just change. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's like that made to change it. And that's pretty much what we want, is that sometimes someone is just too proud to kind of come through and be like, hey bro, I'm sorry about the fact that I said that black people don't matter, or that queers don't matter. It's like being actually, now all of a sudden he's more welcoming, and this school's more welcoming. And then you're like, okay, well, then I express it to other people. Like, how many times do you find that, like, your parents, for example, or your family members would treat you so much more differently if they heard conversations that you had with other people?
It's actually a certain, I don't want to say scenario or scene or whatever, but I think they have. To surprise you and myself, I think they have heard something from someone, because, hey, they're very different. Firstly, because myself and them have never had the conversation. We've never had the conversation. Because I don't know what I would do. But when you get the letter and they read a girl's name, Obana is asking for that, then we'll have the discussion then. So I've never really had the discussion with them. But they have once asked me about it. And I was like, wait, why are you guys asking me this? And their response was so unexpected. My parents just asked me, do you have someone that you can talk to when you want to talk about it? And I was like, really? I thought you guys were gonna attack me. I thought you guys were gonna tell me off, Yeah. But they were very, very, very welcoming, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like who told you what? But I found out they actually went through my social media. They went through my Facebook, and so what you're saying is true, that you will not say it yourself. They will hear from someone, or they will see it from someone, and they will understand it then better than if you were to. Well, I can't really say better than, but
they will understand it.
They will get it. Yeah. So what you're saying has happened to me, and it scared me. But what you're saying is true. What you're saying is really true.
I mean, that's all I can hope for, really, is to kind of like to have people that haven't never heard of stuff like this listen to stuff like this, or hear about, and just kind of, instead of spreading all this negative talk and sharing all these negative things and fighting battles of our friends and fighting battles of our communities and stuff, starts fighting the battles within and conquering them, and ensuring other people do the same thing, and then take it from there. Yeah, I know this live was very difficult for you also, especially after your phone got snatched after the first live. That's crazy. During a whole live.
And here I am.
Yeah. So I know it's difficult. It's like, I appreciate the chat. I've learned a lot from it, and I changed some of the things I'm thinking about as well. I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.
It was great. And thank you for this. Thank you.
Invite.
Yeah. The conversation. Thank you for the conversation. It was actually my first time hearing of a conversation of this kind. I was like, what is this guy trying to achieve? But I was like, we actually let's do it, because there are actually quite a few things to raise, you know. So yeah, thank you for this topic in particular,
Yeah.
and not the usual how did you come out? When did you come out? Omar, it's not the usual conversation. It's not the usual questions. I think it's I don't know if I can say it's hidden questions or questions abantu abancane ukuzibuza, you know. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
Thank you for the platform.
also, before I leave, there's actually one question that I've always had arguments about, right? So, what would you say to people that think that being non-heterosexual, right, is not genetics? It's more social based.
I would tell them virtual life. What? Yo. No, legit, I would tell them virtual life. Yo. Look at.
Yeah,
Ah.
I've
Yeah,
had,
I
I've,
told them virtual life.
yeah, I've heard a lot of questions like that, and I was always just shocked as to why would someone would think that. If you can think that, then why would you not think that heterosexuals are then more social based instead of
But,
genetics?
you know what I mean? Like we said heterosexual people are normal. But if
But
they
most,
do,
but I think most of the people that I've heard the questions from come from very religious type backgrounds and uh,
yeah.
very
Yeah, and it's
traditional
like
type.
an influence. You've been influenced.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
traditional type. I mean, so that's
Yeah.
why I don't like I didn't want to again with all these conversations. I know it's easy to attack and it's easy to fight someone on a particular topic, but I think
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff like that when someone it's just that they really don't understand sometimes and they just
Yeah.
you know speaking to someone as if you have something to gain from them is much more important than
Mm-hmm.
speaking with something to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
so you got to also be open to say, hey, just look up and maybe if I find the crux of it, maybe I'll change my mind, or maybe I'll change their mind. Or
Yeah.
importantly, we will even change the fact that this topic even exists and we'll clarify it. And that's
Yeah.
more important than everyone else will then have a clearer topic instead of, okay, it's still kind of back and forth. And it's like, well, no one's really learning. We're supposed to kind of argue about the topic instead of fighting against each other. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I forgot about that question. I'm sorry. I just got so sidetracked.
It's cool.
Right, man. Thanks so much, man. I'll
Thank
talk.
you.
Cheers.
All right, then. Ciao.